Picture a small celebration at work. A difficult problem has been slowing everyone down for days. Then one employee quietly figures it out. The manager calls the team together, announces what happened, and gives them the credit. Everyone applauds. But instead of enjoying the moment, the employee looks at the floor. They make a joke. They mention three other people who really did most of the work. Then they change the subject as quickly as possible. Someone thinks they are being humble. Someone else assumes they are socially awkward. A younger coworker wonders why anyone would reject recognition they clearly earned. But what if the discomfort is not caused by attention itself? What if it comes from what attention has historically demanded from them? You may have seen this pattern in a Gen X parent, coworker, partner, or friend. They avoid birthday songs. They downplay accomplishments. They dislike introductions that make them sound important. They are perfectly comfortable helping, organizing, fixing, or leading from the background. Then the room turns toward them and something changes. Their shoulders tighten. Their humor becomes defensive. They search for an exit. The usual explanation is shyness, but that explanation is often too simple. A person can be confident, articulate, funny, socially capable, and still hate being the center of attention. They may enjoy conversation while disliking concentrated attention. They may handle pressure extremely well while becoming uncomfortable the moment other people begin evaluating them personally. The issue is not always social contact. Sometimes it is the loss of control that comes with being seen. When you are working, helping, or solving a problem, you control what you reveal. Your attention is directed outward. There is a task, a purpose, something useful to do. But when people stop and focus on you, the direction reverses. Now, you are the object of the moment. Other people decide what your achievement means. They form impressions. They interpret your expression. They may expect gratitude, emotion, confidence, or a speech. Even positive attention can create the feeling that your image is temporarily in someone else's hands. That is why a compliment can produce urgency instead of pleasure. You did an incredible job. And before the sentence has even landed, the person responds, "It really wasn't a big deal. Anyone could have done it. I actually made a lot of mistakes. Sarah helped more than I did." The compliment has become something that must be neutralized. This reaction may be connected, in part, to how some members of Generation X learned to move through the world. Not everyone had the same upbringing, of course. Family dynamics, temperament, culture, and individual experience matter as much as generation. But many Gen X adults grew up in environments where independence was not simply encouraged, it was expected. You came home and figured things out. You made your own food. You handled your own boredom. You solved problems before asking for help. You learned that being mature meant being capable, private, and difficult to inconvenience. For some people, this created real self-efficacy, the deep belief that they could manage life without constant guidance. That is a strength. But the same experience may also have taught another lesson. Your needs should remain small enough that no one has to stop for you. Decades later, that child may become the adult everyone depends on. They are calm during emergencies. They know how to repair things, organize chaos, and make difficult decisions. They are often the first person others call when something goes wrong. But ask them how they are really doing, and the conversation suddenly becomes uncomfortable. Being useful feels safe. Being examined does not. Over time, self-sufficiency can become more than a skill. It can become an identity. The person does not simply prefer to handle things alone. They feel valuable because they require so little. They are the low-maintenance employee, the reliable friend, the sibling who never creates drama, the parent who says, "Don't worry about me." And public attention threatens that identity because it places them in an unfamiliar role. They must receive instead of provide. They must be acknowledged instead of useful. They must allow others to focus on them without immediately earning, fixing, or returning the attention. That can feel strangely exposing. It also explains why praise sometimes feels like pressure. To one person, recognition means, "Something I did was appreciated." To another, it means, "Now people will expect this from me." An award is not the end of an achievement. It becomes a new standard. A compliment is not simply kindness, it feels like a contract. Now you must keep performing. You must prove the praise was accurate. You must avoid disappointing everyone who has noticed you. Sometimes there is even a quiet fear that attention will reveal the gap between how competent you appear and how uncertain you occasionally feel. So the person escapes before the expectations can fully form. But this is only one side of the pattern. Not every person who avoids attention is hiding insecurity. Some people genuinely do not organize their lives around public approval. They may value substance over visibility. They may experience satisfaction privately through the quality of the work itself. They restore furniture, solve complex problems, help relatives, learn difficult skills, or build something meaningful without feeling any urge to announce it. The accomplishment already gave them what they wanted. Recognition adds very little. In a culture that increasingly rewards personal branding, constant sharing, and visible self-promotion, this kind of privacy can look suspicious. We may assume that anyone who does not display confidence must not possess it. But confidence is not always loud. Sometimes confidence is the ability to do something well without needing an audience to confirm that it mattered. The real difference between healthy privacy and defensive invisibility is not how much attention a person seeks. It is what happens inside them when attention arrives anyway. Chosen privacy is flexible. You may dislike public celebrations, but you can tolerate one without feeling ashamed. You may prefer not to discuss your achievements, but you do not panic when someone appreciates them. You can say thank you and allow the moment to pass. Defensive invisibility feels compulsory. The attention creates tension, irritation, suspicion, guilt, or the urgent need to disappear. Two people may both decline a public birthday celebration. One simply prefers a quiet dinner with a few people. They feel peaceful about the decision. The other feels dread at the thought of being watched. They imagine everyone analyzing their emotions, judging their relationships, noticing their age, or expecting them to perform gratitude. The behavior looks identical, the internal experience is completely different. This leads to a more useful question then. Do you enjoy attention? What do you believe will happen after people begin looking at you? For some people, being noticed once meant being teased. Expressing pride was called arrogant. Showing sadness created tension in the family. Success produced more responsibility. A moment of vulnerability was later used against them. Attention did not feel neutral. It came with judgment, obligation, ridicule, envy, or emotional demand. So the nervous system learned an efficient strategy. Stay useful, stay private, and never give the room too much material. That strategy may have protected the person once, but protective habits can continue long after the original environment has disappeared. The body reacts before the present situation has a chance to prove that it is different. This does not mean every private person needs to become louder, more expressive, or more publicly visible. The goal is not to turn privacy into a problem. The goal is flexibility. A person might experiment with receiving a compliment without escaping from it. No explanation, no self-criticism, no immediate compliment in return. Just, thank you. Then let the moment end. That small pause can reveal a great deal. Does receiving appreciation feel unnecessary but harmless? Or does it feel dangerous? Do you step out of the spotlight because you genuinely prefer peace? Or because some part of you still believes that being seen always comes with a price? The Gen X employee from the beginning may still dislike applause. They may still avoid elaborate celebrations and prefer the back row. But perhaps the real freedom is not learning to love the spotlight. It is knowing that you can stand in it for a moment without losing control of who you are. Because psychological freedom is not measured by how visible you become. It is measured by whether your privacy is a choice or a place you learn to hide. If this felt familiar, share your experience in the comments and subscribe for more psychology that helps you see ordinary behavior differently.